So today I wanted to keep talking about movement in its ability to influence vitality. One of the areas that's kind of comes from the woo and is now mainstreaming hard is this idea that energy can capacitate in your body. So the original kind of Cartesian understanding of energy is, well, it's calories in the form of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins broken down through one of the chains in the body, the ETC, the Krebs cycle. Like there's ways to extract energy from macronutrients. And then that energy is the fuel you put in your tank. The engine runs it, the car drives, right? And now we're realizing that there's a heck of a lot more happening around how energy is generated and capacitated just through the fascia. So the electrostatic charge differentials in the fascia, which is kind of this little like thin, it's almost like a saran wrap layer of membrane that basically holds in all the muscle tissue of your body. There is electrical conductance. As you start moving your muscles, there's discharge of electricity, like just literal, energy transfer in through the fascia, and then it excites and innervates the muscles throughout the system. And the more you start to integrate your body's movement into whole body movement, the more the energy starts to generate with movement, right? And so the body has a bunch of those kind of engineering marvels built in that we're just starting to understand, is that energy begets energy and movement begets energy. So as you start to move, fascia start to discharge energy into the system, which then becomes readily available for the body. And so the hard part obviously is breaking through the cobwebs. If you're not moving, getting to move sucks, right? So slowly starting to move and then starting to move and then starting to functionally move becomes the answer. And, some of us have to get there by hook or by crook, right? I know people that, have 2 espressos before they go to the gym. Is that net positive, net negative? They go to the gym, right? And so how do you kickstart the engine so that the engine starts to flow? And how do you adjust for the relative imbalances in, like, say, adrenal function, your piggy bank that was there to support you when energy systems couldn't get what they needed when they needed it, right? And so what I've really started paying attention to is, how do you get people moving, whether it's getting grandpa to take a 5-minute walk a day or getting someone who is already active to now get into more multiplanar functional movement so that the fascia could kick up. That movement will then generate more energy to drive the body. And then what goes up must come down, right? And so the biggest challenge I've seen with folks who move their bodies but are still tired is that they don't rest, recover, and stretch enough to allow the fascia to reset. And when that happens, then the saran wrap starts to get pulled a little too much. And when the saran wrap doesn't have enough recoil on it and it's been pulled for too long, it no longer has the electrostatic discharge that is then free energy available in your body, right? And so there's balance. You have to move. You also have to recover. You also have to stretch. You also have to let the body settle. And so finding that sweet spot is, to me, individualized. I do Qigong in the morning, which kind of gets me going and all that. But if I played tennis yesterday. Boy, did I feel old after 2 hours of tennis. I was just like sore in parts of my body that I forgot I used because I hadn't played tennis in a couple of years. And so I was like, okay, what do I need to stretch? Stretched it out, playing tennis again tomorrow. But, all the shoulder rotation, all these areas that typically I'm not using in sport got activated and inflamed. So what I like for this, and, here's the challenge, is we live in a culture where everyone's like I'm going to make this recommendation. Everyone's going to run out and buy this thing, and they're going to forget to do the thing that I started the top of the call with, right? So what I do like for this is foam rollers and trigger point balls, tennis balls. You don't have to go get cute. I got all sorts of stuff, but people send me stuff for free. I wouldn't buy half the stuff that I have. Like I have all these like cutesy like foam trigger point balls, which are basically fancy tennis balls. But if you're feeling your body has kinks in different parts and, the fascia is stuck, how do I know the fascia is stuck? Is because the joint isn't moving, isn't gliding correctly. Then you get the tennis ball, you lie down, you roll it out. You get the foam roller, you lie down, you roll it out. The problem with that is everyone ran out and bought foam rollers and tennis balls and fancy things, but they forgot the other half of the equation, which was you got to move it. You still have to move your body. And again, we all fall into this productized version of health and fitness where I bought a power plate. They gave me a power plate, but I have a power plate in my garage. That makes me so cool. Only if I use the stupid thing. Sitting in my garage, it does nothing but take up space. The foam rollers are wonderful to use, especially if you actually move your body and then justify getting the fascia to have kicked up electrons and then you clearing that fascia so that the movement actually does what it's supposed to do. There are other remediations, which I like. We've talked about plenty. I love Epsom salts. I love Epsom salts for muscle recovery. So if you start in this last couple weeks, because we're moving on to food next week, so I want to make sure I kind of cover this, is if you start in the next bit moving your body more and feeling yourself like you're sore and that you overdid it, the answer isn't quit moving. That's not for you. The answer is, what do we have to do to work out the wiggles, iron through the kinks, roll out the issue areas to keep you moving? So what I find is that once you get past your third, fourth, fifth decade, shit starts to add up. And movement also comes with a certain degree of punishment. If you have aches and pains and sores and, bumps and bruises from yesteryear. And so without properly addressing that, we try to move forward because some guy on Instagram said he's doing a 20-day challenge and we hurt ourselves and then we can't do anything. So you don't have to go out and buy anything fancy. A foam roller is like $10. A tennis ball, go to a tennis court, you'll find 10 of them like lying around for free, right? You don't need anything fancy for this. Let's say it's my right shoulder. I would put the tennis ball on the ground and I would lie down on it and then I would start to slowly shift my weight onto the part that hurts. I have something to use as an example here. This is called a tennis ball on a stick, right? Another stupid fancy invention so someone could make a gajillion dollars off of Chinese goods, right? So you put this right where, let's just say the pain point is here, and then I'll find a way to get my weight onto it to counterbalance it. And obviously I'm showing you here because I can't show you the posterior aspect. And so I'll put my weight on it. I'll roll it around until I find the spot where I go, ooh, yeah, right there. And then I'll start breathing into it, not away from it. For all of you Vipassana folks, for all you folks that have been doing Qigong with me for a while, the core teaching is to not avert the pain, but to breathe into the pain, embrace it, ask what it's trying to tell you, and allow it to melt under the tennis ball. And so doing that on the various parts of the body that need TLC will absolutely change your stars. Here's the problem. Shit takes a minute. So if you're in a hurry and you're like, oh my God, I'm so busy, I don't have time for me. But then you walk around all day talking about how your body sucks and everything hurts. Take the time you spent moaning and put it into rolling. It's a 5-minute investment. And if you try to hurry into it, it actually backfires because the fascia is like, I don't know, the fascia is kind of like a crying child who had its feelings hurt in kindergarten. You don't run up and yell, what the hell? The question is, what's the matter, baby? And then you let it kind of cry and whimper and express itself until it tells you what's wrong. That's what your body does, right? So you got to slowly allow these knots to release. And as they do, you will start to find more fascial glide. As the fascia glides more, you will have more energy. And what the fascia will do is, because it is an interconnected network of connected tissue that basically is a communication pouch for all of your muscles in your entire body, is once this shoulder is cleared up, it is very common to say, ooh, my left knee hurts now. Who here has had that, right? Where you're playing whack-a-mole with things that you fix. Why? Because the point of constriction, the point of maximal friction has now been dissipated, and now the energy is kind of reset, and the part of the body that has the next highest level of friction is what is calling your attention. So instead of being like, now it's my damn knee, this is the temple. It is pointing you to the next place that needs healing. So, it is my blessed knee that is asking for love next. It is a subtle distinction, but it is an important distinction nonetheless, to understand how to love your body up and get your body kind of back on track with how you're going to sequence your healing. It's really not that complicated. The missing ingredient is you stopping time and honoring your body.